I figured it's an Airbnb, I'll just go on the couch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We love that. We love that.
Yeah. Oh, rock, sure. That's what we all do at Airbnb.
My TV's not gonna lift in this movie.
Yeah, I hope you guys got insurance. Shit's getting
You're the jackass generation.
right from around here.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Exactly, unfortunately.
Oh, I was already shit talking Philly.
We were.
Yes.
Why? What's wrong with Philly?
That was the question.
We didn't
And I was
contribute
like,
to it.
I was like, honestly, I never liked Philly. Like, I never liked the Philly scene.
I mean, it's
And then I was like, but you have to ask them because they lived here. And they're like, we're not gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up.
Courtney, will it bother you if my arm ends up behind you sometimes?
As long as you give my shoulder a little squeeze.
Courtney, will it bother you for the first time for seeing you in 27 years to squeeze your shoulder?
Just start giving you the back rub.
Pretty that will bother me. Sorry, they're doing a thing. We're being.
No, you guys are the thing, man. You're killing it. Yeah.
This is all good, man. I guess, yeah, well, just for the camera, could we do introductions, what band you were part of and what,
Sure.
yeah, what you played in it?
Mark.
We're in Eldritch, Anisette.
Yes.
My name's Mark. I played bass and did some backing vocals.
My name is Courtney. I did vocals.
I'm Alan, and I did play guitar and did some back screaming and some really, really off-key vocals on that song that you can still vaguely hear.
Yeah, that was not me, just for the record.
Yeah, Nick tried to bury them, but they're still there.
You kind of sound like the singer from Boys Life.
I think it has,
off-key.
I think it has a charm.
Sure, it was of a time.
Yeah. We weren't trying to be perfect.
Thankfully. So yeah, that's us.
Cool.
And the other member was Tim, who is not. He's in a better place.
No, he's alive.
I know. I did it on purpose.
Oh,
no,
this
yeah, Tim played drums.
We're on a roll already.
Yeah.
This is good, this is good. So how long has it been, just since you guys have all been together and talked to each other, you guys referenced it, just for the camera?
Yeah, this is the first time Courtney and I have seen each other like 27 or 28 years. But Mark and I have been in touch over the years. But yeah, Courtney and I fell out of touch. So, and Mark and Courtney, I think you guys have been in touch?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first time the three of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since the band broke up, probably.
Yeah.
That fateful night.
97.
Main Street.
Let's get right into it. I mean, if you want to, but you guys are adding a lot of pretext, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a Destiny's Child.
It was like it was like a prolonging thing. It sort of like happened in stages. I feel like it happened like it. I think you told me you were done.
Yeah, I think when we first started talking again, the way I described it was that back when I was 21 or 22 years old, I was a hammer and every problem I encountered was a nail. So I just gave everything and I kept moving. So there were some issues in the band, I don't remember what they were, but I was like, fucking done, walking away, because that's what I'm gonna do, because fucking 22-year-old dickhead is just gonna walk away from everything. I hope it's okay to swear. Swear away. So yeah, so one of the first things I did when I got that contact with Courtney was apologize for being an ass. And I was 22 years old and she said, I'm not apologizing. 27 years.
I think the way I look at it is, I mean, we were in an emo band, right? So, and all of our feelings were involved. And I think at the time, we were a little too immature in our communication style, that we weren't, we put all our feelings into the music, but we didn't always have the conversations we needed to have. So I think some of us breaking up had to do with miscommunication and not really understanding each other.
For sure. I mean, I think that's why, I think that was part of the urgency of that music, is that like, oh, this is how I can express myself.
Right.
I mean, I think that's why people still identify with it.
Right.
30 years ago.
You two are a little too hard on yourselves.
Well, I mean,
I think it's
that's how you get all the good music though. When you're hard on yourself.
I mean, those things are true, and it is true that like it was a very intense band when we put it out, so it's a very fragile thing to maintain.
Fragile is great.
But I would say like the context at the time, bands were breaking up and forming all the
Right.
time, so it wasn't also abnormal, right? Like I was in like 3 bands at the same time.
Right.
You know, you just got out of Cunninger and started this. You're in and out of bands. I don't mean to minimize the breakup like it was, but it was also like it happened a lot, and I don't think we ever thought, oh, we're forming a band to become like the Rolling Stones or anything. We formed a band.
I was.
Oh, you were.
That's the thing.
You know, strutting
Be popular
around.
around stage.
That's me.
No, right? But it was about like a very in the moments release.
Sure. It did, and yeah, like you're saying, I don't think bands back then had, like, out of our scene, I think Voice Sets Fire was the only one that was like, they were like, oh, we are going to make it. That is what we are going to do.
Right.
Like, to the rest of us, it's like, ew, why? Weird. Okay. Because
Like
making it,
Daryl quit because of that.
yeah, because making it, like, I was so punk rock that I wouldn't listen to stuff that was on major labels. Like, I was
Marco.
yeah, I was, and then Afghan Wigs put out a record on a major label, and I was like, fuck!
Oh, you're so competitive.
And then I had to listen to that major label record. But it was just like, so like the idea of, like, this is your passion, not your career.
Yeah.
So, and that's, it's not a healthy way to look at anything, but that's how, like, I looked at it when I was 22. Like, so when they like set out to make it, it was like, oh, I mean, do your thing, that's great, but like, weird. I wouldn't do that. Probably much to my chagrin, I probably should have focused on doing that and I wouldn't work a desk job.
I think that when we broke up, though, it was, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I sort of felt like there was a reluctance to it as well. Like, it wasn't like you really wanted it to happen, but you felt you had to do it.
Sure. Well, I mean, we had a record coming out. We broke up before the record.
Yeah.
Which is even wilder that this
Right.
thing has had this life. Like, but like, yeah, it's yeah. No, I mean, I loved making music with y'all, and I have maintained a love for you all for those 30 years because of that connection that we had. Like, I've always thought of Mark as like a younger brother because of that relationship we had. Like, Courtney and I were 6 years older than Mark and Tim, which doesn't sound weird until you realize they were 15 and 16 and we were 22.
16 and 17.
16
Come on.
and 17.
Sorry,
That was
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. So I had a very like younger brother affinity for the both of you. Like,
Yeah.
And yeah, so I still have that love. It's weird that we've started with the death of the band rather than the birth of the band.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into
Yeah.
how you guys all met and the formation of Eldritch.
Yeah, so I was coming out of a band with members of Voice Sets Fire called Nine that nobody's ever heard of, and it's probably for the best.
I heard of them.
I heard them.
Well, yeah, because we played 9 play shows with Network 34, which is a band that Mark was in, and with Clevenger, which is a band that Courtney was in.
Right.
So Aaron, John, and I from 9 and Buzz started another band, and then Buzz moved to California, and I wanted to do something more in line with like my bands at the time were Velocity Girl, Sam I Am, Sunny the Real Estate, and the Sundays. Like that was my quadrinity of bands that I loved so much. I wanted to do something very emotional, and I wanted to do something female fronted. And I knew that Courtney could sing her ass off and had like just that, I want to say gravitas, but that seems like a weird thing to say about a 22-year-old. But like there was like a gravitas to the way she sang.
Jagger.
Moves
Yes,
like
it's gonna come
Jagger.
up a lot.
Mick Jagger. What do
Moves
you
like
think of
Jagger.
gravitas?
Yeah, when you think of Courtney, you say moves like Jagger.
Yes.
That one.
So we started. I got in contact with Courtney because Clevenger just ended as well, and we used to hang out. And like we were just talking about this earlier. She lived in an apartment complex where a bunch of punks lived. So I would hang out with punks, and then we'd end up at her apartment or another apartment, and just like drinking 40s of Mickey's and rolling around from apartment to apartment.
They were 40s or double deuces?
They're both. You could also get the big mouths that you could put in your sweatshirt and walk around with when you go to frat parties. So we would do that, and Courtney and I became friends through that. And then when I wanted to start this band, and then we started it, and Aaron and John were like, we don't want to do this emo stuff,
Yeah.
or whatever it was called at that time.
They wanted to do like metal, right?
Yeah. They wanted to sound like Neurosis,
Yeah.
which I'm also fine
But I
with.
joined when Aaron was still in.
Aaron was still in the band, and then Aaron decided he wanted to leave, and we were able to get Tim.
And that was before any shows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was in Clevenger with, which is a band I was in previously. So
Yeah, I was also in Network 34 at the time.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Newark was like, so we're from Newark, Delaware.
Yeah.
Newark, should I look here?
You can look anywhere you want
I'm
to.
gonna look at you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself. So we're from Newark, Delaware. Like Newark was a very intimate punk scene, right? And so
It's a small town.
it's a small town around a college, University of Delaware.
Right.
And the age range was like 15 to probably like 25-ish. Really.
Yeah, there were a couple outliers that were in their 30s. but
Yeah.
they were weird dudes.
Putting on shows.
Now weird dudes.
Yeah, those ones. Putting on shows at Girls Inc. and at like churches and VFW halls and people's basements and a lot of bands circling in and out. And we all knew each other, right? Like my brother was in Boy Sets Fire. Tim and I grew up down the street from each other. We're best friends. I knew Rob Avery. We went to high school together. Who was in Clevenger.
Yeah.
So it was all like,
Family.
this is where we
Big family.
came from.
Yes.
We didn't really know each other
No.
before the band. But I knew Alan because I've been playing shows and Alan would be there. And I looked up to Alan, literally.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, and so it was just kind of like, I don't know, yeah, my memory was like, y'all, I want to hear from you, Courtney, but like how it was just like, hey, we're going to start this band, you want to play bass? And I had never played bass before in my life. And I was like, I don't have a bass guitar. And like, Rob has one, you can borrow.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I knew you from Network,
Yeah.
the band we're in, but we didn't like more. We're acquaintances. And then Alan and I were close. And the funny thing about Alan bringing up the music of the band that he wanted to create is like those were all the bands that I liked. And it was strange back then to be like, I love the Sundays. They were kind of an outlier in terms of
It wasn't the most punk band.
it was not. It was not.
Yeah.
But we both loved the Sundays. And I think that is like a core foundational group to know, even though I don't think what we wrote sounds like the Sundays. I think you can,
I think it's in there.
when you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that we like the Sundays, then you can hear it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you
I hear a lot of Velocity Girl.
I do too.
Yeah.
Velocity Girl.
Yeah. And of course a lot of Sunday.
I never even
Right.
listened to Velocity Girl or Sundays in my life.
Because
And that's why the band broke up.
we always used to refer to you as younger and punker.
Yeah.
You were like way more like
Well, I was like, my older sister knew you too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was the younger punker for Nancy.
Yeah. You're the younger punker. Thanks, Steve.
But also the great thing about Newark is it's 45 minutes south of Philly, it's 45 minutes north of Baltimore, it's an hour north of DC, you're an hour and change from Jersey, you're 2 hours from New York City. So like we went to shows everywhere.
Yeah.
Like to the point where
We were spoiled.
when Card vs. Driver played their last show in Atlanta, 4 of us drove 14 hours straight down to see them play.
Yeah.
So like it was just like, yeah, there's a show, we're gonna go to the show, whatever that show is, wherever it is.
And all the bands would come through.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So we were a good stop if you were like, well, we're gonna hit Philly, Newark, Baltimore, DC. Like you could do very close and get totally different crowds every time because it wasn't the internet, so it was just flyers. So and we would also Newark, we would get 300 kids out of the show
Yeah.
At least.
for like a small town show. So like because there was nothing, because it was a college town in the middle of basically cornfields and interstates. So it was just like there's fuck all to do, so everybody would come and do this.
Did all bands have that liberty, or did you guys have traction? Like, were you making kind of waves, or was everyone able to kind of do this?
I'm sorry, I'm speaking about just being able to go to shows.
They're
So, like,
centrally located.
Just geographically.
As
Okay.
punks, we were centrally located. We used to go all these different places.
Got it.
We only played out of town twice. We played in Staten Island, and we played in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
And we played in Maryland.
Technically,
Maryland, yes.
technically right over the state line.
Yeah. But like,
That state line's important though. It was
I mean, we
important.
were trafficking children over straight
There's a whole liquor
The
store.
liquor store stayed open later, and it was also where a lot of the racists were.
Yeah, a lot of running from Nazi skinheads.
Uh,
But yeah, so like, so the band itself did not have that traction to go play wherever. I mean, I suppose we could have, but like the two of them being younger just meant like we were limited, and then like again that sort of drive that kind of, I don't know, I just do this. I don't think about touring. I don't think
Yeah.
about some other stuff.
That's
So,
always sad.
No,
Just
we
being
weren't-
younger.
we
We were
were-
ready to drop out of school, man.
Yeah.
but your parents were not ready.
we
to
weren't,
do that.
and we weren't ready for you guys to drop out of school either.
Your parents would not let me adopt you,
Right.
no matter how hard I tried. I'd be a good dad.
Yeah, we were so responsible. I think, yeah, like we weren't actively looking to like book shows, really. It was more, someone would ask and then.
Yeah, I don't ever remember actively like trying to find
No.
shows if people would ask us to do it. Yeah,
No.
so in that regard, we were very lucky.
Yeah.
But to answer, this is like going all around you guys. Like,
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's
No, it's
that's
totally fine.
Yeah.
Your question about like, did we have those kind of draws for the shows?
Yeah, that I'm pretty much. And then I guess if the answer is no at the time, like when did you start feeling like there was some reception from a consumer
We did
base?
pretty well at shows.
We did and we didn't.
Yeah.
We did well at shows, and we had like a pretty good subsect. But like, you know, I love the scene, and I hated the scene.
In Newark, we did well.
Yeah, but like even still, right? Like yeah, Newark we did well because it's our friends and following. But I feel like the scene was great because it was so diverse in terms of musical expression. You could have weirdo like Adam in his package, this guy with the synthesizer come out and play, and then like, you know, Dead Guy, and then like us, and like
Right.
all on the same bill. But there was also a lot of cliquishness, right? And so like to your point, I think we did well, and we had a good like core following, but we also weren't taken very seriously
Sure.
by the tough guy scene.
No, we were an outlaw.
Especially with
I think
you,
people
right?
didn't really know where to put us.
Yeah.
Because we could like sit kind of comfortably in several different spots, but also uncomfortably in other spots. So, and just by the nature of the fact that we were a female fronted band, I think there were opportunities we got because of that. And then there were some that we were denied because of that. So, and there were times I've said to these guys, there were times I felt like almost bad because I felt like I was the one part of the band that was keeping us back because there would be opportunities that I know we missed out on that would have been great.
And you're the best part of it.
Yeah, that was the point of it. Like,
But you can understand, thank you.
Sure.
You can understand where
Yeah,
I'm coming from.
for sure.
I felt like, you
And
know,
that's
we
awesome.
could, if not for
Yeah.
me, you guys could have had this awesome opportunity to play this show. So that was definitely, I think, a weird little piece of it was the fact that we were a female-fronted band. Affected some things, yeah.
Could we dig into that just a little bit more? Like, okay, the outside of opportunities, were there any in the moment kind of things that you had to deal with that were a little bit different because you were, you know, probably the sole female in a pretty hardcore scene?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
not the soul. There was definitely some of the younger kids. But I mean, we were talking about
In the band.
punks and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, in a band. Yeah, there weren't a lot of that time.
Yeah, I mean, so the scene itself, there were definitely a lot of like, you know, women and girls, and that part was really cool because when we played, especially like in Newark, it was like the front was almost all
It was. Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, if you look at the photo of us that's on the insert to the LP that you wrote, like the crowd is like a really like good gender mix.
diverse, yeah.
Yeah.
But it felt like, to me, seeing that, I felt like it was seeing something that you didn't always see at every show. And I would have, some girls come up to me and talk to me and say how much maybe a certain song meant to them or whatever. And so that meant a lot. But I think the one story I can think of, and I'll let Mark tell it, the story of the show in Maryland.
Which the damnation show?
Yeah. No, I want you to tell it. You tell it so well.
Go ahead.
So, well, you started and I'll finish it.
I don't know where you want me to go on.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
How
They were like,
ridiculous it was?
yeah, they were like heckling us.
Oh.
That one.
Yeah. No, I mean, we get heckled a lot for like, oh, you're gonna be crying then.
Yeah.
You're like,
And we're gonna cry now.
And it was really not even.
And that was just my nature of seeing like a girl up there. That
Yeah,
all of a
'cause-
sudden we're all gonna cry.
But that's the
Which is
thing.
like, yes, you are. But don't assume.
But also, like, that's the thing that's so strange about it, right? Like, because you would have these bands that would sing personal lyrics, like emotional lyrics.
Well, it's a scene that preaches
Yeah.
inclusion and vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was
but
really
often
cool.
in practice, it's
Yeah.
totally machismo, and contrary to what they're it's often a pretty hypocritical genre.
And one thing I really love, I'm not involved in punk, so to speak, but I do like, keep an eye on punk as an older. I don't want to look like someone's dad sitting in the back of the show. But like seeing videos and stuff of bands playing, like the diversity now is amazing.
Yeah,
Like
super cool.
seeing bands like Soul Glow and stuff that are just like,
Yeah.
like there were a handful of people of color back in the day involved in like the punk
Bad
bands.
brains.
Sure, yeah, but like the
More
singer from C-Clamp and like there were like people throughout, like, but it was like peppered, where now it feels like there's representation, but there's so much queer and trans representation now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there, but it was so much smaller back in the day. Because like, we were coming, like, I know myself, I was coming out of the 80s, like I had a lot of like homophobic shit to deal with and like get through that I wasn't through at that point. I hadn't thought all of that stuff through. I was still working through that, and like, so I feel like the scene now is so beautifully diverse. Like it's so healthy for that, I think. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, I think it's good to say all that because it's true. Like,
Yeah.
It's true. It's good to see. I hadn't really been keeping up with it, but it's good to see now that I've been paying more attention, seeing a lot more stuff that I'm like, wow, we should have had that back then. That would have been so fun to be able to see bands like this locally at Girls Inc., which is like one of our favorite places to play in Europe. But I remember. I'll just tell the story of the one show. So we were getting heckled at this show, and they were pissing me off so much, like because they were just I locked in. I was like, they were right there, and like normally I'm not like confrontational or anything, but they were pissing me off so much because they were not only affecting like us, like everybody around them, right? Like there are people here to see us, and you're an asshole. So they were heckling and they wouldn't shut up. And I just remember like whatever song it was I was singing, I just like screamed in their face. I was like, fuck you. If you think you're gonna affect me and affect everyone else around you, like, no. And I don't know that they were probably just like, oh, whatever, cool girl. But, I think maybe if anybody else saw that and recognized what that was, maybe that would have. Do you remember that?
I do.
Because I don't normally. Normally I was like turned around. I wasn't even looking at anybody.
Yeah. We were real amp-facers.
Yeah.
We were out there at the amps. These amps are good judgments.
I mean, that's the thing, the hostility and the absurdity of it. Like, for me, thinking back now, especially like as an adult and all the processing I've done in my life, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of growth and emotions and therapy and everything, is like also just realizing how much bravery it takes to be vulnerable. right? And like go there. And so it's like, you know, and there is that. And it's not just in hardcore or whatever, but it happens elsewhere where it's like, whether it's called like toxic masculinity or anything, right? Where it's just like being vulnerable, expressing that is seen as like a weakness. It's like, actually, do you realize how much strength this takes?
Yeah.
It was just like totally missed by some folks. They couldn't handle it. But yeah.
This is just a little comment, but I feel like dialectics, or in order for the scene to be more culturally diverse now, like you had to scream in someone's face. Like we needed a little fire on fire. Because now we're fucking good. The scene is very diverse.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
in that moment I fixed it.
It was done. I don't mean to toot your guys' horn too much, but you know.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, just yesterday we interviewed a female fronted screamo band. I think people think she's like badass. You know, I think they are taken seriously. There's an argument to be made that, I mean, Eldritch's presence is part to...
Yeah, you were one of the steps, so we appreciate you.
And I guess, I'd like to ask why you guys think... I mean, you guys released one 7-inch as Eldritch, and like, we're 30 years after the fact. Why do you think it's still like being listened to without any effort of you guys? You know, it's not like you guys have pushed it to the masses. It's very
much
atomic.
AI bots like spamming this for years. Numero baby. Actually, I just had that bird from The Simpsons. Just get the
Oh, you're
Dr. whatever, 25, 44. I think, to answer your question, I think that because it has that like emotional vulnerability, it has intensity. Like going back and listening to those songs, like why are they so fast? They're so fast.
so hard.
Like the fact that we gotta get lumped in with Midwest emo, which is beautiful. I don't care about labels, like that's whatever. But like those bands don't like.
We had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, like other than playing with them, other than like playing with Braid and stuff. But like we had breakdowns. We were kids that listened to hardcore and all this other stuff, and like it all just got melded together. And then Courtney had, and I didn't realize it at the time. It took me years, but like this lyrical maturity to the stuff that she wrote that I think really stands the test of time. When I go back and compare it to like contemporaries that maybe like we're just working through shit. You had a vulnerability and a willingness to go like beyond your experiences to express what you were going through, but like storytelling as well. Like I think of Untitled.
Yes.
And how like that was not an experience you lived, but it was something that you embodied. And I think that's really like that kind of stuff. Like besides like Dissection of Silence, which I think like it's just such an amazing testament to a time in your life, and the lyrics of that are beautiful and amazing. And you were able to like take these things that were real life experience and things that you could use your literary mind to come up with. That was really beautiful and worked in an amazing way. And I think that's also, Tim was a goddamn savant with the drums. Like the drumming on that record is insane.
Super technical.
Like he was 16. It boggles my mind. Like I feel like I was just like, I got this guy, I got this lady, I got this guy. I'm gonna put my dumb self in there and see what happens. Like that was my whole thing. I was like, I'm tolerable at guitar, and I'm able to like bring these guys in. So it was like this beautiful mashup of all that stuff.
I mean, you're being generous. You're pretty.
No,
I mean,
I had to duct tape my guitar on myself. I was trying to
that's not true, because there's people who will be like, how did you even play that? How does he even play that?
I don't know. Inadequacies.
Why this I know the
You can take the evil.
Why do you guys think?
I know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Right, we'll go over there.
I don't know. Like, why do you think it is?
I think there's a huge demand for sincerity in music. I mean, and not to be like the old man screaming at the sky. I think there's a lot of pretty like artificial music.
Yeah,
and that there always has been, right?
Right.
Especially like, me growing up. when I discovered this genre. It just felt like very sincere and genuine, and it made me nostalgic. You know, even though I wasn't there, it made me nostalgic, and I don't think there's like any other sounds quite like it, which is why it's so sought after. That's why Newbrook re-releases it, because there is an audience that wants that.
I also think there's like a temporal relevance to it. It's like, you know, we're going down this AI tube and, you know, like just everything feels so filtered and emo music, it's like it's so human. And I think that's why there's a cultural resurgence, at least.
Full of
you know,
vulnerability and inadequacies and flaws, but like that's what's fucking cool, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that's awesome to hear, because I think part of it, I mean, it's awesome to hear because it was, I don't know, that was my experience.
Yeah, I was
Being
gonna say that's my experience.
But like part of the scene, and I think we were a product of the scene, everything we talked about, right? Like the bands we're listening to, this kind of cross between the Sundays, and then I'm listening to like Spirit Assembly in the summer and whatever. And,
So is I.
okay,
I feel like Spirit
call those ones.
Spirit Assembly does not get the love that they should.
Okay, everyone listen to Spirit Assembly.
If you could
Honestly,
track down Welcome to Lancaster County by Spirit Assembly.
I mean,
Then
top
policy
10
of
records.
Old Joey
Top
Turnoff,
10.
the 7-inch.
Yeah.
But like, so the music, but then also I mean, it was a very, like to what you're saying, like it was just a very, and I know this is so cliche, but it was just a very DIY created community and scene, right? It was like it's saying, like, Mark played bass, I never played bass, here's like, figure it out, right, and do it.
Right.
But then also just like, you know, they put out the record themselves, you know, and handcrafted it, which I'm sure we'll get into, but like, we would do, you know, had pen pals, everything took intention.
Yeah.
And there was a tactileness to it.
Yeah, it was like,
mixed
you had
You could
to
touch
do it. You had to do it, and you
Yeah.
did it with each other, right? Like you would have exchanges. You would go to fests, and share tapes. I'd write to people all over, and had this whole network. So I would go on road trips and just stay at people's houses. So it was a very like experiential thing, and like for me, like being 17, 16, 17, figuring out my life at that age. Like this was a venue for it, right? So I think maybe that's why, right? Because it was actually that in a way. We didn't have just an algorithm feeding us things. It was more like word of mouth and who you would talk to, or you would, at best, you would buy like a record and then see what bands that band thanked. You'd be like, oh, I should check out those bands.
Yeah.
That's how I found a lot of bands.
When
Right.
when I was a young metalhead, the band's photo on the back, whatever band they were wearing on their t-shirts, you're like, all right, what's that? That's I gotta go check. Like that's how I found out. But like that was one of my gateways into punk rock. Was like, well, what's Discharge? Like, dude from Metallica was wearing a Discharge t-shirt. What's this all about? So like, yeah. The thanks list was a big thing, and the no thanks list. The no thanks list is a lost art. But yeah. There was a tactileness to it all. There was, and I think that has sort of stood the test of time on some level. Even to like the Numero doing these hand-screened LPs that they've been doing in 7 inches.
Which is the reason we went with them, because Ken, who
Yes.
co-founder runs Numero Group, comes from the scene as well, right? So
Yeah.
he
Tree Records.
was at Tree Records and put out a bunch, but including like these postmark sandwiches that have these splits. And
Beautiful.
yeah, and it was like, oh, like
he got the whole box set. He has
Oh,
the,
really?
yeah. It's,
Oh,
I
the
think
Sequoia
it's,
too.
Yeah,
it's super cool. Yeah, you guys are in it, right?
Yeah.
In that vinyl set.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
it's
And
cool.
to sidetrack a little bit, you mentioned Indian Summer,
Yeah.
which is like one of my favorite bands, and I think it's very vulnerable music
Sure.
too. And there's a resistance with some bands to talk about their time in emo or making music, and I guess I wanted to ask you why you guys felt it was worth it to come here and talk about it, because we've had experiences where, and I'm not going to name names, but where people
Name them! No thanks
want to-
list!
or they feel embarrassed to talk.
Really?
Oh yeah, and actually refuse to talk about it.
I can see that. The vulnerability of it would make you feel very like if
Certainly,
you're not still in touch with that.
certainly. Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. Having your 16-year-old self preserved
Yeah,
sonically, and now you're 50 and you talk about.
Yeah, whoa.
All right,
I'm not
just-
50 yet.
I'm
I'm not
speaking
50 yet.
in theory, just theoretically.
Yeah.
But why do you? I think it's so worth it to
Yeah.
revisit that because there's a whole generation of kids experiencing that. Maybe vicariously through your music, or your music is helping them experience that. I think it's very worth it. But I wanted to ask why you guys felt it was worth it to come here and talk about it.
So I think there's so many layers. I think first off, Alan and I were talking earlier today before we came here that the band feels like so. Whenever I talk about Eldritch Anisette feeling magical, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean everyone else has to feel that way about it. It's not ego that I say that. I say that in terms of how it felt for us and for me on a personal level. That for us to be able to come together and create this thing that I feel like saved my life, honestly, because I had so much I had to say and had wanted so long to a venue in which to say it, or a way to say it. I feel like conversationally, I struggle sometimes saying what I actually mean, but writing lyrically is much easier for me. So I think being able to express these things that I felt, and like Alan said, I mean, sometimes there are other stories that aren't even my stories, but I feel I feel compelled to tell it. I'm so connected to that experience, and it's so important to me that there's no way I wouldn't want to talk about it. And especially because it involves these guys. I don't know, it's like one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. For me. And just feel so deeply connected to it and so proud of it because I feel like, we actually put something out there in the world, that has,
Ripple.
yeah,
Ripple through time for sure.
yeah.
If I'm trying to give like grace or explanation for maybe, I don't know, some reason that some people say no. There might be a degree of like embarrassment, or it might be a degree of like what I think you were talking about before, where the kind of culture in the scene was resisting success or acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think sometimes people might just be like, I don't want to go back, like, oh, like, am I just going to be pathetic? Like, revisiting some, like, my glory days of when I was a teenager or whatever.
Sure.
I
I went through all that.
Yeah, but I think, so for me, well, why don't you
No.
say
Please finish your thought.
It was going to go in a different direction.
Oh, then no.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like a couple things. Like, one is when, like you said, when it started coming up like on YouTube and we'd see like, we'd get messages from people in Argentina, or Russia, or Japan. I'm like, whoa. Like, it was just kind of incredible. But it also brought back, like, come here and connect with you all. It's like, for me, it's so part of that same culture, which was like having an exchange with people, right? Like, the scene was very much about like, no frills. It's not like, oh, we're in a band. It's just like, no, we're all like people figuring this out and making this music together. And, like, you all are contributing through documentaries, we contributed in the past through the music. Like, and so it's just kind of like peers and friends. It's like in this exchange, like maybe I'll learn something and whatever. But then also I think, like what Courtney said, I've been in a lot of bands. And Eldritch, though, including the aforementioned Voiceless Fire, with my brother. But Eldritch was like the one band, it was like the band that got away. It was like always one where I'd listen to, like I'd meet people later, like, oh, like, play me some of your band's music, and I'd play it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this song's great, this is cool. And then I was like, oh, this one, this is like the special, let me take it out, put on the gloves, you know, like, and I think it was because it was, for me, you know, all the bands I love, but like, yeah, Eldritch was a very precious band, and I think it's a lot of things. It's the music, the emotion, I know that I put into it, writing songs and playing it, performing it, but also that time, right? Like, I know like some people don't want to go back in time, like you're saying, but for me, it's also like, this sounds hokey, but it's like honoring that 17-year-old me. You know, and like that time where like it was so formative, and like to be with my best friends who like, we spent nights together, right? Just like at the coffee shop or at Courtney's apartment. I'd be reading like my dumb poems, like talking about breakups and like all this stuff, right? And like figuring out life.
Listening to records.
Yeah, listening to records.
And these were like my best friends. And so, yeah, why would I not want to talk about like time with my best friends, right? And then get the chance to see them again.
I think just like add some commentary to it. So the documentary is called "Finding Peace Through Hardcore," and my assumption is that the bands that we talk to, the older ones that are still ashamed, I don't know. Like I want to be able to look back on my own history and be like, yeah, I was different then, but like proud of it. And loved the responses. They were just awesome.
Yeah, it was a super good answer. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to, when we were 17 to 20, we'd stay up all night making zines.
Yeah.
And, like,
little
listening
punk
to
bands and stuff.
researching shit.
It's like so exciting now.
Oh, everything's fine. It's like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And I very much recognize I may never be that excited about doing that stuff again. But,
Yeah.
I'd be damned to like ever be embarrassed about that stuff. Yeah.
Well, you either found the peace or you don't.
Yeah.
If I could digress, like I think for me, I had a lot to deal with when we first started talking about this stuff again. Is that I do not like who I was when I was 22, because like I said, I was a hammer, but it was a nail. I had all this shit that I had to work through. Thank you, therapy and Zoloft. You have helped a ton. Like, go to
Shout out
therapy,
Zoloft.
kids. So like, you know, and like I used to say that punk was my therapy, and that's not enough. You know, like you need to actually talk about the stuff that you're going through with an actual like licensed person. So like going back to that era, that is kind of trapped in amber. It's so in the past. It's so ephemeral, and you can't actually grasp it. Like I used tactile earlier. It's got that vibe to it, but you can't actually touch it. You know what I mean? So you can't actually go back and grab that time period. But it is like, the reason I was able to get past all that is because it has been 30 years and people are still connecting to this, and it would be it would be extremely diminishing on my part not to be willing to talk about my experiences. Like inside of me, as I'm speaking, I'm like, well, who the fuck cares about this? Why is this old man talking? Like, Grandpa, shut up, go home. Like, you know, like, but it's like, it's important to document that stuff. I'm glad you guys are doing this, and I'm glad we did that record and we have that document, because so many bands I did either just had a demo that's gone by the wayside and nobody's ever heard again, or never recorded anything. Like Mark with your band Dorian Gray, like you guys did record.
We got one song. It's on the For the Kids column. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's these like little these snatches that have just been lost to time. So if someone's interested, I'll talk about it. Like, I don't know if it's going to be interesting to anyone else, but yeah, why not? Like, you guys can edit this down.
So what is more like peace through hardcore?
Finding peace through hardcore. Well, I think the reason that we started the project initially, and now it's about love that we just continue it, but we were not in a good place.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you just. I don't love who I was when I was 21. I didn't make good decisions. I treated myself very poorly.
Yeah.
You know, and it took a lot of change for me to get out of that. But I do have to credit a lot of this music to like giving me some perseverance through some bullshit. Yeah, you know, and I'm like listening to a lot of these bands. I think for both of us, was a huge thing that we looked forward to.
Yeah.
When maybe we didn't have a lot of other things to look
For
forward
sure.
to. And I guess we wanted to speak to the minds that have contributed to that.
Well, I also just feel like there was like everyone listens to this music or makes this music, so there's obviously some sort of correlation. And the finding peace was like, please tell me the answer. Like I need peace so badly. And so we went on the initial tour trying to find the peace because we thought you guys were, like us enough that you would maybe have an answer for us.
But we learned, it's not.
It's not, and peace is not formulaic in the sense where there is no, you're going to have it, then you're going to lose it, and it's just this ongoing thing, and those who, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we went on the trip, we're finding peace still, and that's why it's,
On the drive out here, I had this like really long 90s emo playlist, or not things of that era. There's other stuff. I'm sure Despise You, knowing they were on that list, would be very mad if I said that. But like, with the band Despise You, or Man is the Best, or whatever. Like stuff like the stuff I listened to at that time. But For Want Of from Righteous Spring came on, and I just cried on the drive out because that song still to this day, if there's nothing there, it'll always be mine. Like, I'm sorry, but it fucks me up every time. Like that lyric just hits so deep, and like hitting that sorry, no. This is an emo interview. It's not Anisette. We don't end up in tears.
they were right.
That's what draws me in. That's what every time I can still go back to those records and that spark. It's almost like I think it's like will-o-wisp or something. There's little gas fireballs that burn so brightly and they're gone, but that it's still inside here. When he delivered that line, I smacked myself in the chest. I'm a galoot. I'm an absolute moron. But I just it hit me so hard, and I'm crying on my drive out. And it's just this is why I would come out and talk about this stuff. This is why, because if there's a chance that, and I know it has, I know that the stuff that we did has affected people and given them even that moments of solace. How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
That's that finding peace. There's that and you can find I can find it in a Gorilla Biscuits record. You can find it in I listen to weird archaic black metal, but I find that stuff in there. So it's everywhere, but it's where you find it. You know
I mean, for us, the hardcore piece is synonymous. It could be finding peace through botany. It's just about finding fucking peace, It just happens to be what we like, but for sure.
And I think that's beautiful.
To what you said, Courtney, before about the band and this music definitely saved my life, right? Multiple times. In terms of that purpose at that time, being this alienated 17-year-old kid, and now looking back at oh, that's why I was dissociating and checking out and all these things. But to find that purpose and then the community around it.
Right.
We carved out space for ourselves. How beautiful is that?
And I think I realized what was cool about the numero stuff happening and us reconnecting. So the last band I was in was Voices Fire. I left in 2012, and I hadn't picked up a guitar really or anything since. And then when this all started, I started playing again at home, and I just realized how much I missed it, how much I needed it. Also just that release, you were saying when you're first you can find peace in the Gorilla Biscuits. But then I was no, I can't, because it was that release of the energy and the emotion. Of course. But then also stuff you're saying, finding things I'm now over 10 years sober, not drinking, and it was really finding songs, punk songs that talked about it, and I would just listen to that over and over and over again. Or finding punk songs that people talking through the struggles. I'm oh yeah. That was the way, that was a therapy. It's not licensed, but it should be.
That's Tyson's hardcore.
Certified punk therapist. Gorilla Biscuits, here you go.
I know some. So they do exist. I think there's, I'm sorry, why am I talking? Courtney.
What?
I feel like I'm railroading this whole thing.
No, you're not. I think all of us have a similar but also different perspective on it. Like there's a piece of all this that's happening now that feels a little, sometimes you're like, am I being too self-important? Like, because we were such a small band and we, you know, and for it to be at this level now is really interesting because I don't think we ever could have conceived this even back then. So sometimes it's like, are we taking ourselves too seriously in this kind of experience, right?
Or are the people taking us too seriously?
Right, or are people
Yeah.
taking us too seriously? Yeah, for sure, there's a little bit of that too. So, but I think at the end of the day, I see it as music and music we write is just a way for us to have a conversation with people saying, and you know, hopefully like we start the conversation, it gets to you, and you continue the conversation, right? So in that sense, music is vastly important, but also totally not that important, right? It's not that serious. And I think with everything, like why did we say yes to you? I was telling you on this. I've been lately with everything coming up with this, I'm like, I'm just gonna say yes and see what happens because who gets a second chance like this to look back at something they're really like proud of or wish they could have? What would have happened, I wonder, you know? So I think I just say, yes, let's do it. Because it's fun and I like talking about it and I like hanging out with these guys, so yeah.
Well, we're very happy you said yes. Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
And she runs the Instagram in the US, so.
Wait, what?
Wasn't it through Instagram?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You were on it.
Yes.
And they asked.
Yes.
Yes.
I did ask you guys first. I didn't say yes and then ask you guys. I did ask you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of to what you were saying, like it's bananas to me that we are considered contemporaries of the bands that are in that box set.
Yeah.
And then we were like, I'm on a comp with Karate and Boilermaker and The Hated and like
All of our
Sublime
favorite bands.
Anger.
I pick like different bands out. That's what's funny too.
Yeah.
You have like your top four.
Yeah.
I have my top four. You have your and all
Yeah,
they're all in that
because
box.
there's 707 inches in there. Like, we all get our top, but it was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm part of that. I'm in that scene. That scene remembers, and like that's beautiful. Like that's really amazing. Like God, done a ton of bands, and nobody gives a shit. So like having one that someone like care. I'm not obviously to the people who give a shit. I'm sorry, but like to this degree, nobody gives a shit. People put out records, so people give a shit. But like
Nobody gave a shit.
It's such a difficult thing to articulate, but it's like very odd, the idea of like fame, I guess. I can't think of a better word. I hate that word, but I can't think of a better word.
And like deifying
It's
artists.
Yeah.
You know, I understand.
it's an uncomfortable place to be
Sure.
in because I think at the end of the day, all of us sitting here, and I know a lot of other people in bands feel the same way, you're just doing something that you have to do, and so, and that you like to do,
Right.
and that's really the extent of it. And so all the things that happen around it that are sort of outside of your control, I think you just have to accept it and say yes. Because obviously you can't control it. Like none of us could have planned for this to happen, right?
I think it's very valid that, like you guys said, that people are, they comment very, very serious things. So I don't assume you guys to be like conflated as far as egos go because you're now taking it seriously too. Like, I don't know. There's a reason we had you out here and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the real reason we came is because we were like, we love
It's
seeing
chill.
ourselves on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm definitely
All the ones are
Yeah.
You could not find like 3 more camera shy people in 5 minutes.
You guys are doing great. Yeah.
I was kind of curious so a lot of we've talked about how short-lived a lot of the music is, but you guys obviously still have this abundance of love for one another. Does being here now after 27 years, is it like bringing back certain feelings? Are they new feelings? Maybe that's too personal, or I don't know.
Practice, let's do it.
I mean, the first time we had a conversation all together, when we were discussing whether or not we wanted to, like, Numero reached out to us, and so we all had a conversation about what we thought. It was so weird because it really felt like no time had passed at all. We fell very comfortably into, like, conversation with each other and feeling similarly about what we thought of the offer, which was, you know, we just really wanted the music to be available again because it was so rare. Like, we only had a few 7 inches, and the music that had been ripped from the 7 inches, we wanted the good quality out there.
It's people were paying like $150 for
Right.
and stuff. So.
Right. So I think what do you think?
What do I think? What? About all of this? You're mid-sentence.
No, I meant like over conversation, like talking.
Oh,
about
then?
Yeah.
It was so funny. I remember that it was a phone call to Ken, and he's like, oh. and it was a conference call, and it was a conference call. I was like, man, I haven't done a conference call in like pre-COVID, and that's like a different time.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, we talked, but then I heard your voice, and it just like made me feel giddy.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. But I don't know, like seeing each other now, like we've seen each other before, and we've seen each other before. Seeing you both together is a little wild for me.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's special. Like, we've talked about this, like, I don't know. It's been fun to go back and think about this because of how much, you know, really, like, connecting with how much love I have for both of you.
Yeah.
And so, it's nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's go practice. I'm gonna just keep saying this.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's definitely like to what we were speaking about earlier about like not liking myself back then. The fact that I can slip right back into a conversation with these people and them not be like, oh, this guy, this fucking guy. Like it's like, oh, well, maybe I am a little hard on myself. Maybe I could cut myself some slack.
It's like that thing, like, I don't know, you two off screen are best friends, right? Knowing each other. It's this thing for me too where it was kind of amazing where we haven't seen or spent time together often or a lot, but it feels like it's a little weird, but then it's like, oh, we picked up like no time has passed.
Yeah.
And I feel like you two like know me in a way that others just won't ever know me. And so it's nice to, yeah.
Well, I thought a lot about that after Nick Rotunda passed away. Of why I felt like such affection for him and for that period of time. And because we were 19, 20, 21, 22, and we spent every waking moment together.
Yeah.
And you just get those, you get back the, like, I mean, I used to not go to work and just hang out with these, like, idiots. And, like, not you guys, but, like, we got idiot friends. We did idiot shit together all the time. And it was just, like, it was beautiful. And it's just, like you were saying, it's this thing you could never recapture. You'll never get that again. And probably for the best.
Yeah.
Because we were doing idiot shit all the time. We probably should not be doing that. But, like, there's just like they're your family. You become family at that point. And even if you don't see each other for 10, 20, 30 years, we did carve out that space for each other that's still there that we're able to slip back into.
I think one of the things I think about that time, we were just talking about it, the time we spent together, it seemed like so mundane, the things we were doing, but it was all very formative. I mean, our tastes, we were like cementing our tastes in music and movies and things we cared about, like social causes we cared about. And so I think they were very formative years that are you're becoming the person who you're meant to be. And I think in some ways, maybe some of the stuff was, I mean, obviously I'm not super proud of all the things that I did at that age either. But I think in a grander scheme, the fact that we can all come together and feel as if we're same but different, different in the ways we needed to grow, but same in the ways we needed to stay ourselves. I think that's how I feel about it.
Sure. And that is emo.
Any final ones?
I feel really good.
Couple just short ones, and you don't have to share necessarily. What do you guys do for work? Like, what does your life kind of look like now after all this time since emo? We only know Eldritch and Anisette,
Wow. I mean, we'll go this way. I've played in a lot of bands,
Mhm.
but how it looks now, like life's good. I live in New Jersey with my family. Got a wife and a kid. My daughter's 10. She's awesome. So this is actually a big reason why, like, doing the band, I was like, oh, like, we have these numero shirts, and like my daughter's wearing my band T-shirt. I was like,
I just got that thing too. It's fucking sick.
it's awesome. And yeah, I work on, we were talking about this, but I work on police reform and public safety issues. And yeah, I listen to a lot of 60s, 70s jazz, like the really weird stuff.
Sun Ra.
Yeah, Sun Ra. I was gonna wear my Sun Ra shirt. But these are my-
Sunrise shirt.
I was
Do
gonna
not
wear
wear
something
that
like that.
No, I see it like
I was seriously going
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But yeah, no, like, and like the spiritual stuff, like the, Coltrane, Crescent, Love Supreme, all that going on.
Alice Coltrane.
Yeah,
Pharaoh Sanders.
all of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's valid. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. You did good. Well,
I did good.
you did phenomenal. You did phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. Courtney.
Sorry.
What's my life? So I actually work as a brand manager for a spa. I got into like wellness, skincare, stuff like that, because I needed something that was chill, because everything in my life felt very crazy and chaotic. So I was like, I met someone who was an esthetician who did skincare, and she was like, her vibe was like so, I was like, I want to be her. And so I did that. And so I did that for many years. And then I elevated myself by myself now. I stopped doing services, and now I do the brand management. So, which is really funny because you couldn't, again, I'm not really a person who likes to promote anything, but yeah.
You're so creative. And you're so
I do like it. It has given me like, interestingly enough, it has given like the through line is like I always get to be creative somewhere. And I'm in Philadelphia, and I don't know. So I write music on my own, but like nobody hears it. You've heard a little, he's heard a little, but like that's never gone away. I'm always listening to music. I could not tell you what I listen to because I listen to so many different things. Like one day I'll be listening to K-pop, the next day I'll be listening to jazz. I like to, one of my things about writing music is I like to hear all different sorts of things, because I feel like sometimes I'll hear just something different that's unexpected in like a song that I wouldn't normally listen to, and then I'll be like, and then I'll just go to the keyboard and start working some things out. I like to be influenced by many things. It's always been the way, like if I have writer's block, I go watch a movie or read a book or listen to music. Because I feel like other art forms help inspire that in me, Anyway,
Sure.
that's my life. It's really exciting. I have 3 cats.
We moved this out to next
I know. They're very important. And that's it.
Yeah, I've lived in Pittsburgh for 18 years now. I live with my partner, and we have 2 dogs and a cat, and a
16-year-old hermit crab scooter.
Oh wow!
Whoa! Wait, we need a whole documentary on scooter.
That's a good one. I didn't know about
How do
scooter.
you live more than 16 days?
Yeah,
Exactly.
because they need very specific things. We're not going to it right now.
Okay.
A foot massage. They don't have feet. Claw massage.
They wear little shoes. That's why you get people up. You can put shoes on. I work in early intervention for kids. I'm part of a group that gets kids the health services they need, like occupational, physical, speech therapy. I do a podcast called Werewolf Ambulance, which is a horror movie comedy podcast with one of my best friends, Katie, who's an amazing human being. You should listen for her. She's the funniest person I know. I am still infatuated with music, and my most recent thing, I've been going on a real hard tear of listening to dungeon synth music, and if you've got an hour, I can explain that to you. I've never even heard of this before.
There's all these genres of music. I'm like, what are you in?
Let alone
Dungeon synth. Come on.
enough that you could go on a hard tear.
I have an entire book about it. Maybe that's you need to know.
Dungeon synth.
It was an offshoot of black metal. It's like the ambient bits of black metal that have just turned into full albums. Mortis from Emperor was the original dungeon synth guy. Listen to his album Stargate. It's amazing.
Is it like Phantom of the Opera kind of stuff?
No, it's not very Andrew Lloyd Webbery, but it's.
I mean, you know, like it's like pipe organs and
So the whole thing is
for you guys. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's only one, but you know.
I think it's cute. It's a cute one.
Aww.
You guys are all smiling, laughing. It's a good one.
I'll explain those just to you.
Right.
So yeah, that's
That
yeah.
tracks.
Yeah. So yes, I get very, and I'm also really into playing tabletop role-playing games. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I've always been under, and I always will be. So here we are. Hi.
Yeah, same. I like video games.
So do we.
I think that's good. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely